Kumusta mga bata? Kumusta mga bata? Ako ang inyong guro, pangalan ay Gerald. Kumusta mga bata? Tayo nang matuto sa mundo ng musika. Ika'y matututo mga simbolo't kumpas, hulwarang ritmo. Makinig ng mabuti, tiyak na ikaw ay matututo.
Great day, everyone! Welcome to Teacher G's class. This is Teacher Gerald, and I will be your teacher in Music 6. We are now in the third quarter of our study based on the most essential learning competencies set by the Department of Education. And if you are new to my channel, subscribe now and ring the notification bell for you to be updated for our new uploads. Now, our lesson is all about dynamics in music, Western orchestra, and musical ensembles. In this lesson, we will be learning about dynamics in music and musical sections in an orchestra. But for today, we will be meeting our new friend to give us our most essential learning competencies and objectives, as well as the activities for this lesson. Let us all meet Super G. Hello, G. This is Super G, and I will be the one to give you the most essential learning competencies and the objectives for this lesson. Also, I will be with you as we go on to your activities. See you! The most essential learning competencies for this lesson are: describe the instrumental sections of a Western orchestra, distinguishes various musical ensembles seen and heard in the community, and uses varied dynamics in a song performance. Our objectives in this lesson are: describe the different sections in an orchestra and give examples of musical instruments in each section. Listen to music of your choice and identify the dynamics applied. Appreciate the importance of dynamics to express emotions when used in a song. Now, let us take a look at this picture. What can you see in this picture? We can see that there are different instruments that we can use in producing music. And also, there are varied musicians gathered in one place. Have you ever seen or heard this kind of gathering in person, on television, or through the internet? And what musical instruments can you see in this picture? As I said earlier, we can see string instruments. Expressive qualities are the different elements that composers and musicians use to infuse music with an overarching mood and emotional content. Three fundamental expressive qualities are tempo, dynamics, and articulation. Dynamics is one of the most important parts in playing music. You can express so much emotions with them. In music, we use the word dynamics to describe the volume of the music. But rather than using the words loud and soft, we use different Italian terms and symbols to describe the volume of the piece. On the other hand, an orchestra is a large instrumental ensemble, and it is one of the traditional forms of Western music. In contrast, an ensemble can be any of the collection of instruments, singers, and dancers. Always remember that an orchestra is always an ensemble. But not all ensembles can be an orchestra. Traditionally, dynamic markings are based on Italian words, although there is nothing wrong with simply writing words like quietly or louder in the music.
Dynamic markings. Number 1, piano, which is pronounced piano, is the word we use to describe quiet or soft music. When reading music, you'll typically see a letter P, which is telling the musician to play this part of the piece quietly or softly. Number 2, forte, which is pronounced forte, is defined as the musical term for loud, and it comes from the Italian word for strong. Number 3, mezzo, is pronounced mezzo, which means moderately or half. Number 4, mezzo piano. It means moderately quiet. Its dynamic mark is MP. Number 5, mezzo forte. It means moderately loud. Its dynamic mark is MF. Number 6, pianissimo. It means very quiet. Its dynamic mark is PP. Number 7, fortissimo, means very loud. Its dynamic mark is FF. Number 8, pianissimo, very very quiet. Its dynamic mark is PPP. Number 9, fortissimo. It means very very loud. Its dynamic mark is FFF. Number 10, crescendo. It means gradually play louder. Number 11, diminuendo or decrescendo. It means gradually play softer. The movement, development, and quality of music produced by an orchestra depend on the dynamics. Let us learn its different sections.
The first section of the orchestra is what we call the woodwind. This section generally has piccolo, clarinet, oboe, flute, recorder, saxophone, and bassoon.
These are played by blowing into them and fingering different notes using keys that cover various holes. Most, but not all, are made of wood and have at least one piece of reed in the mouthpiece. Piccolo is a very small flute that is even higher sounding instrument. Flute may be made of wood. The orchestral flute is usually made of metal. It has a clear, high sound that can be either gentle or piercing. Oboe is the instrument that traditionally sounds the first A that the orchestra tunes to. It is black, made of wood, high double reed sound. Bassoon is the largest and lowest sounding standard orchestral woodwind.
The second section of an orchestra is what we call brass. It features trumpets, trombones, French horns, and tubas.
Trumpet is the smallest, highest sounding orchestral brass instrument. Its shape is quite cylindrical, giving it a very clear, direct sound. Trombone is the only valveless brass instrument in the modern orchestra. Its range is quite a bit lower than the trumpet, but it also has a brassy, direct sound. French horn is much more conical than the trumpet and has a much mellower, more distant sound. It has a wide range that overlaps both the trumpet and trombone ranges. Tuba is the largest, lowest sounding orchestral brass instrument. It is a conical brass instrument with a much mellower, distant sound than the trombone.
Another section of an orchestra is what we call the percussion. Most of the instruments in these sections are various drums and other instruments that are hit with drumsticks or beaters. Let us see these examples.
Here are some examples of percussion instruments in Western orchestra. We have xylophone, claves, triangle, snare drum, cymbals, tambourine, maracas, piano, timpani, and bass drum.
Another section of the orchestra is what we call the string. Traditionally, this is the largest section of the orchestra. It often double or even triple the size of other section in the orchestra. So, this is also the section that generally carries the melody. All are made of wood and have 4 strings. All are usually played by drawing a bow across the strings, but are also sometimes played by plucking the strings.
Examples of string instruments: violin, viola, cello, double bass, guitar, ukulele, electric guitar, banjo, mandolin, and harp.
Musical ensemble. A musical ensemble, also known as music group or musical group, are a group of people who perform instrumental or vocal music with an ensemble, typically known by its distinct name. Classical chamber music. Smaller ensembles are usually called chamber music ensembles. The term duet, trio, quartet, quintet, sextet, septet, octet, nonet, and dectet describe groups of 2 up to 10 musicians respectively. Choral groups. A group of singers who perform together as a group is called choir or chorus. Choirs can sing with or without instrumental accompaniment. Singing without instrumental accompaniment is called a cappella singing. Choirs can contain all males, such as tenors, baritones, and basses, and also all females, such as sopranos and altos. Indeed, it is a wonderful musical discussion with you. I hope that you learned something from our discussion. Do you hear that? Super G is now here. Super G, show up! Thank you, Teacher G. Now it's time for your activity. Choose the letter of the correct answer that best describes the statement in each number.
Number 1. It is made of metal and its sound is actually produced by buzzing the lips against the mouthpiece. A. Brass, B. Percussion, C. String, D. Woodwind. The correct answer is letter A. Brass. Number 2. It is played by blowing into them and fingering different notes using keys that cover various holes. A. Brass, B. Percussion, C. String, D. Woodwind. The correct answer is letter D. Woodwind. Number 3. All are usually played by drawing a bow across the strings, but are also sometimes played by plucking the strings. A. Brass, B. Percussion, C. String, D. Woodwind. The correct answer is letter C. String. Number 4. These instruments are hit with drumsticks or beaters. A. Brass, B. Percussion, C. String, D. Woodwind. The correct answer is letter B. Percussion. Number 5. Blank is the largest, lowest sounding orchestral brass instrument. A. French horn, B. Tuba, B. Trombone, D. Trumpet. The correct answer is letter B. Tuba. Number 6. Dynamics is the blank of music. A. Arrangement, B. Speed, C. Tone quality, D. Volume. The correct answer is letter D. Volume. Number 7. A large instrumental ensemble is called blank. A. Chamber, B. Choir, C. Chorus, D. Orchestra. The correct answer is letter D. Orchestra. Number 8. This is a smaller musical ensemble. A. Chamber, B. Choir or chorus, C. Duet, D. Orchestra. The correct answer is letter A. Chamber. Number 9. Tenors, baritones, basses are vocal range for blank singers. A. Female, B. Male, C. Old, D. Young. The correct answer is letter B. Male. Number 10. Sopranos and altos are vocal ranges for blank singers. A. Female, B. Male, C. Old, D. Young. The correct answer is letter A. Female.
I know that you did great on this activity, and that is a good job. Now, it's time for me to say goodbye to you and see you on the next lesson. Goodbye! If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share, and leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell for you to be updated for our new uploads. Once again, this is Teacher G, and see you on the next lesson. Goodbye!